Welcome to my world history notes, where I read from the book that I wrote to teach homeschoolers world history. A Bible believer looks at world history. You can find my book on lulu.com, amazon.com, at the Bible Baptist bookstore, or just follow me here. And if you're ever mine, please subscribe to my channel. I've had some technical difficulties in the last couple of days. I did a test this morning and I didn't hear anything that was choppy sound or anything. So I apologize if there's any problems with this. I'm going to test it when I'm done. Listen to it, of course, um, and I hope you'll have my book and follow along, or just that you're able to hear what I have to say. So I don't expect you to agree with me. You might even be offended by what I say, but important point is this: you have your own opinion from your study of world history. My study is surface; it's skimming the surface just to give you some names, dates, places, people, concepts, events. So let's begin. For the time period of 1800 to 1850, we're going to first look at the Napoleonic Wars, which started the century. Napoleon had raised a new army and faced Austrian military victories against him in Italy, crossing the Alps and taking several Italian cities. And after the bloody battles of Montebello and Marengo, felt assured of victory by June. He fought the Austrians in Germany. Excuse me. He fought the Austrians in Germany, and then they sued for peace, which was granted in February 1801 at the Treaty of Luneville, at which time Spain ceded Louisiana to France, which in turn sold. I'm so sorry. Which in turn sold the Louisiana Territory to the United States. So France sold Louisiana Territory to the U.S. However, things went bad for Napoleon when he invaded Egypt, as a joint Anglo-Turkish army defeated him there. The war at sea began with Russia, Prussia, Denmark, and Sweden joining forces to protect their shipping from an increasingly aggressive Great Britain. Britain replied by sending a squadron of over 50 warships to the Baltic Sea under Admiral Sir Hyde Parker, with the soon to be famous Horatio Nelson as second in command. At the Battle of Copenhagen, Nelson, disobeying Parker's orders, attacked and defeated the Danish navy, and Tsar Alexander I of Russia signed excuse me, a convention ceasing all hostilities. Finally, there was peace between England and France with the 1802 Treaty of Amiens, which was ended in 1803 when Britain imposed a naval blockade of Europe while Napoleon had planned to invade England. British sea power stood in his way and made the invasion impossible. In fact, the British Navy was considered to be the only thing standing in between Napoleon and domination of the world. Excuse me. Napoleon was crowned emperor in 1804 and 1805. Britain joined forces with Austria, Russia, and Sweden against him. Napoleon took the initiative, abandoning plans to invade England, and his grand army marched eastward, defeating his Austrian enemies again. He marched on Vienna, Austria's capital, and defeating a Russian force, and occupied it by the end of 1805. We're going to pick this up with more about Napoleon next. I have several sessions on Napoleon I want to talk about. Very important figure in history. I would recommend Will and Ariel Durant wrote that 11-volume set, The Story of Civilization. They started with Napoleon and were trying to understand him and worked their way back and wound up doing a history of the world. And there's a great book called War and Peace by Tolstoy. And Tolstoy's War and Peace is a long book. You can read it like a couple pages a day, maybe, but it really gives you the ideas that people had back then. We don't look at it. If we look at it and think of it from Napoleon, from our point of view, as an historical figure, kind of quaint, um, kind of relevant. But if we look at it back and way people looked at him then, you see people look at him as an antichrist, and you see people looking at it as a secular messiah, and it's just amazing. So I would recommend War and Peace. Just read it a little bit at a time. It'll really, really open your mind up to the way people thought then. So I'm going to pick it up with Napoleon next time, and thank you very much for paying attention.